Husband has completely neglected our anniversary, disregards my feelings, and lacks affection, which has led to a deteriorating marriage. We've been married 3 years today, together 6. It's halfway through the day and he hasn't acknowledged it at all. I bought us cupcakes and I'm going to stop for flowers and a card on the way home. I'm sure he's going to come home with nothing, act shocked and apologize, or just brush it off and go to his phone. We've had a dead bedroom since we got married. I can't remember the last time he complimented me unsolicited. Calling me hot, sexy, or beautiful, but he can like the photos of big models in bikinis. 2 years ago I got dressed up in lingerie. I felt insecure because I had put on some weight, but I felt sexy in it. He came upstairs, saw me, and said he was hungry and went downstairs to eat dinner. He left me upstairs for an hour. After he finished eating, he just stayed there. We could go weeks without sex if I didn't push for us to do it, or fucking ask permission to have sex that night. He doesn't initiate meaningful touch and affection with me anymore. He will shower affection on our pets, including in front of me, but can barely stand to touch me, it feels like. He works ridiculous hours, and even though I asked him not to pick up a second job when his hours changed because long working hours were impacting our time together and our intimacy, he went out and got another job. We went out for my birthday this weekend. After encouraging me to have another drink, he asked me if I'd be willing to drive us home. He was tired because he chose to go on a sunrise hike that morning and ended up not sleeping for a full 24 hours. I didn't drive back. I can't remember the last time he bought me flowers for an occasion or just because. He used to leave for work in the morning by giving me a kiss, or tucking me back into bed. Now he just leaves without a word. We have been dealing with MFI for 2 years because he chose to take anabolic steroids for years, which made him nearly sterile. He lied to me about steroid use multiple times. He has now been off them for some time and his counts are improving. I am pausing IVF right now. He didn't tell me about his immigration status and the fact he had been previously married until 1.5 years into our relationship. He complains about the same things all the time, and when I offer solutions, he doesn't listen. I'll often also say something, and later he'll parrot it back like he came up with it myself. This is especially true of his medical issues that he refuses to follow up on. We're doing couples counseling. I gave it as an ultimatum in March, after he threatened to divorce me for a second time since we've been married. I made it his responsibility to follow up on the counselors and identify providers. He did, and then never booked anything. It wasn't until 3 weeks ago when I asked him about it that he said, honestly, I haven't even thought about that. I also love the jokes. He says something that makes me upset or hurts my feelings, and then says, relax babe, I was joking. He used to be a thoughtful gift giver. He used to be affectionate. He used to look at me like I had stars in his eyes. I've begged for more intimacy, more touch, more affection, more sex. I feel like I am coercing him into sex now, and that he doesn't even want to do it with me. He just does it with me to get me off his back. I do 90% of the housework, all of the finances, and all of the vet care for our pets. I recently told him I wanted him to step up more, and he told me that he'll do stuff, I just need to tell him. I told him I do things that I see need to be done. Me having to tell you what to do does not alleviate the stress off of me. He stepped up for one day. My mental health is in shambles. I think I'm a fat, worthless piece of shit. I'm not. I'm a little overweight, but I work out regularly and I'm curvy. My depression and anxiety has amplified to levels where it is impacting my day-to-day life. I'm sorry for this dump. I'm just tired of all of this. I'm realizing today how little I matter. I think I've finally checked out. I'm done initiating, done babying him, done managing him, done mothering him. Yesterday was our 3-year anniversary, which was celebrated with a huge fight. Today, I confronted him about his social media activities. We've had a dead bedroom for 3 years, and I practically have to claw affection out of him. He's been liking half-naked thirst trap photos of women for the past 2 years of our marriage. These are women that are insanely fit, have huge tits, and post pictures with their ass hanging out. He has also lied to me in the past about things like his previous marriage status, and his anabolic steroid use. I confronted him twice about the steroids, and he denied it up and down. Only later did I find out I was right. I told him today I wanted to see who he is messaging on social media, and he refused. At one point, he called me crazy. He said if I can't trust him, we're over. I told him I don't trust him. He absolutely, steadfastly refused to let me see his phone. I told him if he does not show me, that tells me he has something to hide. He tried to tell me he liked the girl's photos by accident, and the only one he actually did was liking the photos of an OnlyFans creator. He also used the excuse that other girls have made him do that before and it made their relationships go to shit, and that he has never asked me to see my phone before. I said the reason he has never asked to see what's on my phone is because I've never given him a reason to question my loyalty. He just left with his wallet and an overnight bag. I don't know where he's going, and I don't give a fuck where he's going. I felt so guilty confronting him because he came in the door excited to see me, but I'm fucking tired. Even if he came home and showed me his phone, I know I can't trust what I find on it back. Ozzy probably deleted it. He came home. It turned into the nastiest fight of our marriage. He's basically said he wants a divorce. He doubled down to his usual argument of I'm the fucking worst, I can't ever do anything right. He says I always do everything right and he's always wrong. So I pointed out his years of stonewalling me and emotional abuse, and it set him off. He told me to shut up. I told him fuck you. I slammed a door really hard. I admit that wasn't okay. He yelled that I need help, like psychiatric help. I'm now in the bedroom and he's in the living room. I hate my life. Update 1. We ended up going on the weekend trip together. We went on a long hike and a good time. We took photos together. We came home. I feel empty and broken. He's now keeping his phone face down at the house. When I asked him if maybe he could post a photo of us from our trip on his IG, he said he would. 2 days later and nothing, even though he's been scrolling away on IG daily. I asked him last night and he gave me a "I will babe" without looking at me. There's no evidence of me on his IG since 2019, but he does have me all over his FB. One of the girls I called him out on as following and liking her sexy pictures has suddenly gone private on her social media. She's also following my husband, and has over 20k followers. She lives several states away according to her posts. I am so fucking pathetic. I love him and I'm so desperate to rebuild any feeling of trust or love we had at the beginning of our relationship and our marriage. I feel like I am literally going crazy. This is all that I can think about every day. I had nightmares last night that he left me for that girl. There's times that he shows genuine affection, like he was excited to hold my hand going into the store the other day, and when he took care of me the other day when I was sick, but I still have this pit in the bottom of my stomach that something is wrong. Yet here I am still. I wish he felt the drive to have his hands all over me. That he couldn't keep his hands off me. That he still got me flowers unsolicited. That he commented on Snapchat photos that I sent him with enthusiasm over how beautiful I was. That he sees sexy photos of me that I send him and runs to the bedroom. I'm met with lukewarm enthusiasm or completely ignoring me. I'm also his sponsor for immigration. We had a genuine dating relationship and got married for genuine reasons. I feel guilty if I'm the reason he is deported. I am trying so hard to make this work, and I feel like he just doesn't care. I didn't leave him in March when he threatened to divorce me again, and he didn't give a shit about my ultimatum of couples counseling or I'm leaving. He didn't care for months. He doesn't care to post me on his social media. All I want to do is starve myself so I can be as thin as those girls he likes on social media. Fix my face so I look as perfect as them. Get my boobs done like theirs. Shut off my emotions and just not feel anything anymore. Know the fucking truth so I'm literally not driving myself crazy anymore. I feel like he stopped loving me or caring about my needs a very long time ago, and I don't know why he's still with me if he doesn't want to put any effort in. I know you all are going to be angry at me and think I'm pathetic. I feel the same towards myself. Update 2. There's a lot of context throughout the comments. I posted earlier today and got rightfully roasted. I backpedaled on my original post. Went on vacation together this past weekend. Realized nothing changed after. I also shared that I am currently sponsoring him for immigration, and we are at the point of getting his waiver processed. I had a lot of self-pitying bullshit in that post too. Wishing I was hot enough like those IG models, because maybe he'd want me then. I literally spent most of today on the cusp of a panic attack. I deleted my update from earlier today because I just couldn't handle the comments that came in, especially how quickly they came in. I was not mentally in a good place. I really appreciate everyone who was kind and supportive, and also those who told me "Girl, WTF are you doing?" I was weak for deleting the post, but I really appreciated the quick outpouring of support and advice. Something in my gut this afternoon told me to Google him. I found a lawsuit against him from earlier this year, because a debt went to collections. It was not a small amount. I confronted him about it, and it turned into a whole BS thing. I signed up for a fucking legal website account so I could view all the docs and print them. He tried to tell me he didn't want to stress me out, which is why he didn't tell me. Y'all, he hired a fucking attorney behind my back, and admitted he got his second job so he could pay off the debt so I wouldn't know. I almost lost my fucking mind. I think I grew a little bit of a spine today. When he tried to justify, I shut him down. When I used the words "lied to me," he corrected me and said he technically didn't lie, he just didn't tell me. When he threw out a suicide threat, I ignored it. When he told me he was done and threatened divorce again, I asked him if I should take him seriously this time and he told me to do what I want. I confronted him about the IG stuff again, which pissed him off. I pointed out one of the models he is following suddenly turned her account private right after I confronted him last week. Also pointed out again how low T doesn't make someone like only thirst trap photos, yet ignore his wife. Pointed out how he likes their ass photos, but ignored any sexy photos I sent him. Told him I can count on my hands how many times we've had sex this year, and that I initiated every fucking time. Couldn't handle it, so he left on his bike with an overnight bag. Fuck off. He just drove back for whatever reason. I heard his stupid bike revving in the parking lot. Maybe I'll go back out and flip of FR Ring camera again because he likes to check it. He just drove off again. I reached out to a friend to talk to them about this. I need to finally be real with someone about all this and not shoulder it alone. My grandma died in March, while I was holding her hand. I hope a little sliver of her strength is hiding in me somewhere, and that she gave me some of her strength when she left. She survived an abusive marriage, and went on to have a beautiful life. God, please give me the strength to stay resolute. I buckled last time, and I don't want to this time. I deserve so much more than this. Please let me keep this spine I grew today, and let me grow an even bigger one. Oop, I also pulled out my codependent no more workbook that I haven't touched in 6 years, and started it last night. I'm going to take out Why Does He Do That? And finish the next chapter this weekend. My therapist has been awesome coaching me through all this. I have a standing appointment with her and I am looking forward to her support next week. Story 2. Finally turned 18 and I'm debating whether or not to admit my struggles with anorexia and smoking weed to my pediatrician before I leave. I turned 18 4 days ago. I'm leaving to go to college out of state in Minnesota in like a month, but I'm in Alabama right now. I moved out and I'm living with my friend and her parents for right now because my parents are getting divorced and it's ugly, so I'm safe in my environment. I have an appointment with my pediatrician I've had since birth before I go to college for a physical, and I've been debating if I want to admit some things to her or not now that I'm an adult. 2 things, actually. Or 3 I guess. And I have questions about what's going to happen if I do. I'm really anxious and I'm starting to tear up even thinking about it. Basically my doctor thinks I'm just naturally underweight and that I'm happy and healthy and stuff, but I've been intentionally keeping my weight low, since I was about 10. My mom was worried when I hit puberty that I would get overweight like her and that I was eating too much junk, and so she taught me to count calories. For years she would make me wear a rubber band on my wrist and snap it on the inside of my arm anytime I wanted to eat to try and teach me to not want to eat basically. She taped pictures of fat people on snack boxes and would make me weigh myself every morning to decide how many calories I could have. She's even tried to get me to smoke cigarettes with her before because she said it would kill my appetite. She told me I'm lucky because others girls don't have moms who care about them and how they look, but the older I've gotten the more it seems like this is actually really awful of her. She's always made me feel bad. I see videos on TikTok about almond moms and it seems like her. I've never had my period. Ever. I lied to my doctor and said I got it but I haven't. I don't know if that's normal, but I think it's probably not by now. My mom keeps saying I'm a late bloomer. I think I might be anorexic. And I'm really tired. My hair is coming out and I'm so pale and my head always hurts and my heart feels heavy in my chest when I'm exercising. I get dizzy when I stand. I'm anemic, and my doctor asked if I was having heavy periods and I said yes because I didn't know what else to say, so that was a lie too, and she thinks that's why I'm anemic. Sometimes I even faint. I was supposed to take a teen vitamin but my mom said they are full of chemicals and fillers and would make me sick, so I haven't gotten one. I can't sleep unless I smoke weed no matter how tired I am. My doctor doesn't know I smoke either. My mom would be pissed if she knew because she said pot is for lazy people. I just want all this to stop but I don't know how. I tried eating more but I panic if I go over 750 calories a day and there's only like 5 foods that are safe, and I'm afraid to drink anything that isn't clear. I'm Scar, Ed, and I can't live like this. But I'm afraid of what will happen if I tell my doctor. Will she be mad at me? Will she yell at me for lying? Can I get help figuring out how to eat without being scared but not have to go in a hospital? I don't want to lose my place at college. I worked so hard for my scholarship. Will I have to gain weight? Will they tell my parents now that I'm 18? Can I be forced into anything? Will I get in trouble for the weed? I'm just lost and scared and trying to figure this out because I don't want to be like this anymore. Thank you to anyone with advice. Update 1. I ended up going to the ER a town over, alone. I turned off my location on my phone and I didn't give them any emergency contacts, so I should be able to be here without anyone finding out, hopefully. I told the check-in lady everything. The nurse said my vitals aren't very good and my heart rate hasn't been over 50 since I've been here, and my EKG was kind of weird and my potassium is 1.4. Oop, clarifies she meant 2.4 /. So they want to keep me overnight and have me get fluids, so I'm here now. They said I'll have a social worker too, so maybe they can help me figure out keeping my parents out of things. The doctor was really nice and said he would contact my doctor and we would figure things out. Update 2. I hadn't ever told anyone any of this until 2 days ago, and now that I started talking I feel like I can't shut up. It's been a really confusing couple of days. Once I'm medically stable they want to discharge me to an inpatient program close to my school. Hopefully then I'll be ready to be outpatient by the time college starts, so I won't miss anything and I'll still get to go to activities and make friends. They're going to help me find a regular doctor in that area that knows about eating disorders to help coordinate care, and because it's a new doctor and I can sign all my own things, my parents won't even know who I'm seeing. I was supposed to go home for a couple weeks before I moved to school, but I didn't really want to, so I'm kind of glad the doctors don't want me to either. Skeptical, which feels like a shitty thing to say. I'm scared and relieved at the same time. But I think I missed so much stuff over my childhood and I'm excited to get to start over somewhere new. I'm just trying to focus on thinking about what I'll do when I feel better. Thank you everyone for being so kind and for the really helpful advice. I don't think I've ever felt so seen in my life. I appreciate all the reassurance too. Even though I know it's the right thing, I can't help feeling like I'm doing something wrong and I shouldn't have said anything pretty often. I finally feel like things might actually be okay someday. I should be mad at you. I spent years chasing every whim, hoping to do something right, hoping to be enough. I justified everything. I gave you excuses. I thought to myself, if I try harder she'll be happy. But it never was enough. Not when I followed every diet you put me on because you didn't want me to grow too big. Not when I gave up nights with my friends because you didn't want to be alone. Not when I cleaned your alcohol-drenched vomit from the rug before Dad came home. You never loved me. Not when I groveled. Not when I pleaded. Not when I tried to make myself small enough to fit in your cold, hard heart. Nothing could fit there anyway. The space is filled with your own vanity, oozing conceit. It takes a unique level of maliciousness to raise a child while planting mental landmines scattered through the ether of their thought, one misstep from blowing up. You're so stupid, this is your fault, no one will ever want you if you tell, they'll never understand, no one will ever get you like I do, and you really thought I'd never find out how much you lied to me. You genuinely believed I was so dumb I'd stay placated and quiet forever. I should be mad at you, but I'm not. Not for long. Every time my anger bubbles to a peak it spills over and melts to guilt, sadness, and confusion, and I'm left feeling a little emptier, my fury reduced to a puddle of lukewarm runoff. I really should be mad at you. I would be mad at anyone else. But I can't help but replay the gentle moments, the ones that felt almost nurturing. Part of me still hopes the universe where you say you're sorry exists. The one where you're capable of emotions that aren't self-serving. The one where you protect me instead of being the one I need protection from. I should be mad at you. All I ever asked for was simple love me how I am. But I don't think you ever saw me as a person, just a possession. An inconvenience with too much free thought, and a spirit that needed to be subdued, shattered, crushed to pieces too small to do anything too daring. I can't stay mad because I'm devastated. You watched me atrophy. You incited it. You stood and held my hand as I walked to the edge of the cliff, and then you pushed me off and told me it was so I'd learn to fly. But I didn't. I couldn't. You knew that. I crashed, burned, and laid in a charred wreck at rock bottom, still begging you to love me. I should be mad at you, but I pity you. And this time I'm not crawling back. I hope you forget the sunscreen when you make your way to hell, but I'm still secretly hoping you miss me when you get there. Your daughter update 3. 4 days ago I started getting a bad stomach ache. Initially the doctors thought it was just from not being used to eating, but then the next day I woke up with a fever and the pain kept getting worse. It turned out I had appendicitis. I had surgery to remove it and they placed an NG tube in my nose while I was under, which has made this process a little easier actually, even though I was afraid to get it. My potassium is back in the normal range again, my heart rate is a lot better, and overall I'm starting to feel a lot better too. They think there's a good chance if I can get healthy I won't have any permanent damage from the last 8 years. For anyone wondering about the whole 18 is still a minor in Alabama part and what that would mean in terms of mandated reporting, they did have to report my situation. I don't want to go into that too much though. I can't go back home, but that's probably for the best. I've been able to find a lot of helpful outlets in writing, and the social worker and other hospital people have been really kind and helpful. It's been a really intense week, but I'm hopeful that soon I'll be well enough to discharge to treatment and have a fresh start. The amount of positivity and kindness and advice I received here absolutely blew me out of the water and helped me get through basically upending my own life. I was so scared and so unsure of whether I was making the right choice. I still sometimes go back and forth on that. But I definitely needed the help. Might as well keep using the throwaway account for my embarrassing secrets, right? A summary: my mom was actually really awful, which I only recently realized the extent of, but basically she constantly lied to me and kept me kind of sheltered, and I am super naive now and leaving for college in a couple months and suddenly feeling horrible, unprepared. What kind of life stuff do I need to know? What do you wish you would have known at 18? What is some information that's helpful about college? Practical to emotional, I just want to feel more prepared. Edit to add demographics per request: 18F, USA. No siblings and now no parents. Likely no extended family either. Update 4. This has been the weirdest, most confusing, intense and disorienting 2 weeks of my life, but I'm okay with that because I think otherwise it might have been my last 2 weeks. I only felt brave enough to post my questions because I was finally 18 and I thought maybe I could get help without my parents having to know or be involved at all. I also want to add I can't take full credit for taking myself to the ER. After my original post, someone who is a board-certified psychiatrist reached out to me and told me I needed to go to the emergency department. He even helped me figure out which one to go to. I'm not sure I would have done that otherwise. I didn't realize how serious my situation was, even though I'd been having chest pain for weeks and feeling unwell. His advice is what made me go that night. I appreciate the comments on my bravery, but truthfully it wasn't my idea. I also had some people reach out from my original post that have been encouraging, helping me navigate how completely unsteady and intense this has been, and writing out the fear and guilt. Without that, I'm not sure I would have stayed in the hospital. I probably would have gone home. The internet is truly amazing. Currently, I'm on my way to treatment. I know it's where I need to be, but I'm nervous.